So programmatic is not the solution. What is the solution to workflow automation, or the workflow problem? And not surprisingly, is workflow automation, and more specifically, data-driven workflow automation. So if you think about it, media planning today, there are some great tools like ComScore and Nielsen to help with some of the upfront discovery process, but you start to get just past that, it becomes very, very manual. For example, just having access to a database of what's available on the market. In most other businesses, you could say, show me a product catalog and let me search that and find what I'm looking for. In the case of digital media, that's really something that hasn't existed at all until a few years ago. The IAB, to their credit, has worked to create a standardized product catalog that not only says like ESPN would be a good site to advertise on, but also here are the products that, well, in this case, is this advertising age. Here's the products they sell. Here's the basic accounts, pricing. Here's the salespeople, that sort of thing. Going beyond the basic, this is a site. The other thing is data-driven media buying, and this is another area that I think the IAB and all the vendors in this room can help with. There's vendors on the buy side, there's vendors on the sell side, and then there's also an opportunity for interoperability. One of the things that I know Scott mentioned very briefly this morning, but I encourage you to take a little bit of time looking at, is this new thing called Open Direct. It's a new standard, just going back to my previous slide, as an interface between buyers and sellers. And it's really meant to complement OpenRTB, which has been around for a little while. But Open Direct is, as you might imagine, for direct buys. And it's a way for buyers and sellers to communicate to one another. And right now, what that does is it helps in the discovery process. So it helps for a buyer to say to a seller, what do you have to sell? How much do you have? What's the price? And then also to actually place the order. And so the announcement this morning was really the first availability to go and look at that spec. So the leaders of the spec were Microsoft, AOL, and Yahoo, and Yieldex were the initial working group that created the draft of the spec. I'm probably going to forget somebody here, but then MediaMath and ourselves came in later on to help to round it out. Is that everybody? I can't remember, Scott. I think I got them all. Anyways, it's on the press release. But if you go to the IAB site today, you have access to the actual spec. So if you're looking to sell premium guaranteed inventory, here's a new way to do it. The other thing is data-driven media optimization. So now your campaign's in flight. You want to be able to get the best possible results for your advertiser. There's certainly performance data on ad servers, but how do we get all the performance data? So you've got agencies that, some of them that we work with, there's literally dozens of sources of performance data, bringing that all into one data repository. Speaking of Anudit, I know that you do a lot of this, and drive the media optimization process. So during the flight of the campaign, how can we make smart decisions? And really what I'm talking about here with workflow is, instead of spending a week gathering information, have that information available to you so you can make smart decisions. Then likewise, this is one part of it that's often ignored, is data-driven billing and reconciliation. Just answering questions like, did we plan for this? Did we buy this? Did we already receive an invoice for this? Did they deliver what they promised? Have we already paid this? All those, all that information in one place to make the reconciliation process easier. And that's surprisingly one of the most difficult areas of this entire workflow. So, when you think about automating the workflow, certainly programmatic is part of it, but we really need to look at the entire workflow, start to finish. As we do that, I really feel like we're entering a third age of advertising, of digital advertising, where the first number of years was really spent doing, manual processes, IOs, Outlook, Excel. In the last 5 years, machines have kind of come up to speed, and so we've been doing a lot of machine-based buying, but that's not cutting it either. So really what we're entering now is a third age, where it's really, instead of man versus machine, it's man and machine. And it's really humans plus automation, where what we're doing is taking the best skills of humans, decision-making, and combining that with automation to bring the data all together in one place to make great decisions. And hopefully we can achieve superhuman results together.